So without further ado, let's start by first downloading Axure RP7 from Axure at axure.com/download. Axure is available for both Mac and PC, so you can choose depending on which platform you use. Personally, I use both, as I work mostly on a Mac, and at home I have a Windows laptop. This course makes use of the PC version, as I make most videos in my spare time, but keep in mind that there aren't big differences between the two, except the keyboard shortcuts and the lack of some minor functionalities on the Mac version at this point. I already have a licensed version installed on this PC, so please go ahead and install yours. Like many other professional tools, launching the Axure Workspace for the very first time may be a little bit overwhelming. A lot of panels, buttons, and features will grab your attention, and you might not know where to begin from. But if you actually take a second to analyze it, the workspace is pretty straightforward. The main space in which you will work is the wireframe pane, and it's bordered by the other panes on the left, right, and bottom. The sitemap, widgets, and masters pane on the left, the page properties at the bottom, and the widget properties, dynamic panel manager, and widget interactions on the right. Also on top, we find the menu bar and the toolbar. We have some control over these panes, as we can choose to show or hide all of the bordering panes of the wireframe pane, so that we can have a clean working space. We can use the View option menu, and clicking on the panes option, we see the panes listed. If we accidentally remove a pane, we can simply come back here and show it again. We can also detach a pane and move it around, so if we need a bigger canvas to work with, if we have a second screen, we can move the panes there. To detach it, we just need to click on the diagonal arrow, pop out. We can move it wherever we want. Let's move also the master's pane. As you can see, now we have a larger canvas to work with. Let's say that we adjusted our panes in a way that is not suitable for us anymore. All we need to do is click on the dock arrow, and the pane will automatically be placed in its default location. When you launch Axure for the first time, you can choose to create a new document, an RP file. This default document shows in the sitemap pane a home page that has 3 child pages. Child pages are represented as being indented underneath a parent page, in our case, the home page. You do not need to keep these pages. You can easily delete them by right-clicking and selecting Delete from the context menu. But sometimes they are a good foundation to start a project. We can undo the last actions with Command-Z on a Mac or Control-Z on a PC. But if you close and reopen the file, you're going to lose that possibility. So think carefully when you're using that delete option. This applies to everything, not only to pages, so keep in mind. So, in the sitemap pane, you can create new pages. You can organize pages into folders. This is a new feature introduced in Axure, and a very useful one, as in large projects you will have many iterations, and you can create a separate folder to keep the previous versions. So we can drag these pages into the folder. So now all our previous iterations are stacked in this folder. We can change the order of the pages by moving them up or down using the arrows. Also, you can move pages by clicking and holding while dragging to position the page where you want. As we saw earlier, a red marker appears where you cannot place the page, and a blue marker appears where you can move it. These are the arrows: move down or move back up. We can nest pages but keep in mind that this is just a visual representation. We can delete the pages, as we saw earlier, and we can search pages, which is a real time saver in big projects. We can click on the search here, and if we search for page 3, we found it in this folder. This toolbar at the top of the sitemap pane contains all of these, but if you right click on a page, you will see some extra options that allow you to do even more. You can duplicate a page or a branch. This saves some time when using templates. You can rename a page, and you can also do this by a slow double click on a specific page. You can change the diagram type into a page or a flow, but this is also just a visual representation. And also generate a flow diagram, but we will cover this functionality in a future lesson where we will detail the flow diagrams.